host, Kanaska Carter. I have not posted an episode in 9 months, maybe more than 9 months. So they've discovered and admitted that there are aliens in the ocean. As soon as I saw this come up on my TikTok feed, I was like, well, what have I been saying for years? Talking about Bill Cooper and how he witnessed disc-shaped craft come up from the ocean when he was serving in the Navy. This guy ended up being assassinated in 2001. He was talking about the 9/11 attacks and how basically how interesting it is that the top FBI and intelligence teams can't find Osama bin Laden, but then an American journalist with a TV camera crew waltzes into his hideout and interviews him. And he was involved in intelligence, and he had a lot of documents come across his desk saying that aliens were real. There were 4 distinct races of aliens. Government knows about them. UFOs are real. And now we have it completely public. They're living in the oceans. What he witnessed was a disc-shaped craft come up out of the ocean, flip on its axis, spin in the air, and then go back down into the ocean. And when it would hit the water, he said any aircraft at that time would disintegrate on impact. But these spacecraft were not disintegrating. They were just, the water was parting in front of it, and it was going into the water. So maybe it moved it away. But either way, Bill Cooper was talking about this for years. In the 90s. And before that. I'm just making a coffee right now. But I've seen aliens 3 times, wide awake, in person. I've talked about this on my show before. About how I saw a small gray in the woods. I saw the rake. It looked like a genderless, pale skin, completely black eyes. And it was levitating a foot off the ground. I saw this in 2015. And I also saw a tall gray alien in disguise in 2010 when I was walking through Chinatown in downtown, basically like Hastings area in Vancouver, British Columbia. So, these are my skull containers I got. Aliens are real, guys. My mother and my sibling have had experiences too, where they believe that they've been abducted or had encounters with aliens. And now it's public knowledge. And people don't seem to be fazed by it. Wasn't it last year or the year before they were sighting these weird things in the sky? And they're having to shoot them down. I'm just wondering if it's the government that's doing it, or are these actual interdimensional or extraterrestrial aircraft? I know I saw something strange multiple times. I feel like I've been in contact with aliens for a long time. I've had visitations in dreams, and then 3 close encounters while I was wide awake. So, there's definitely something going on. And so many people have reported seeing aliens and having encounters. They've retrieved bodies. There was a huge cover-up associated with Roswell, where bodies were found, and then they tried to play it off as if it was just a weather balloon that they were shooting down from the sky. To think that we're alone in the universe, come on. The universe is vast. And apparently goes on for infinity. I wonder if there's an end to the universe. Like if it just stops at a certain point. But I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that. I felt like I needed to create this video. So Bill Cooper, let's talk about him. I've talked about him before on my show, but now that this is coming out of it, the oceans being where aliens are existing, I feel like it goes through some sort of a portal. And that there's a theory that the ocean is actually outer space. We talk about how, first of all, before we get into Bill Cooper and NASA, they were researching the ocean, and then suddenly they became fixated on outer space, and they stopped looking into the depths of the ocean. I'm wondering what they found. We hear about our ancestors coming from inside of the earth or from the ocean. There's so many indigenous tribes that talk about this and the origins of their people coming from inside the ocean, underground, from the sky. So I believe we have underground bases located all around the earth. And I feel that aliens are living inside the ocean and inside of our planet. And if people were to realize this, they would become terrified. But the thing is, there's nothing we can do to stop it. If it is, I believe it is our reality, honestly. It's not even an if anymore at this point, if they're completely coming out with it, you know? It's not even a theory anymore. This is just the way it is. So, back to Bill Cooper. He was in the Navy. He witnessed disc-shaped craft come up out of the ocean while he was serving in the Navy. Then he was part of intelligence, and then he had documents coming across his desk which confirmed the existence of aliens and confirmed that the government is aware of their existence. And even working with them. I wouldn't doubt it if they're working alongside aliens. He had many attempts at his life, just like Philip Schneider. Someone tried to run him off the road, and he lost his leg by someone who later visited him in the hospital, saying that if he continues to talk about what he spoke about, he was doing live talks about his experiences. He was a whistleblower, essentially, and they did not like that. If he continues to talk about it, they would hurt his family. Apparently, he put his family into hiding. So, he continued to talk about it. He had a radio show, The Hour of the Time. That actually inspired me to get into radio many years ago. I had my first shot at radio in 2009, but it only lasted one episode because I was working at a hair salon at the same time, and I couldn't do both. And then I got another radio show at CKCU once a week for 5 hours, overnights. And that they started censoring me during the COVID time in 2020 was when I quit, because they started censoring me. I could talk about anything paranormal, anything conspiracy related, but as soon as you talk about COVID, oh, be careful, careful what you say. So I was like, I would rather quit this radio show and have freedom of speech to talk about whatever I want than to censor myself. So I quit that. And then I decided to get on YouTube. And I keep forgetting about my dream to continue my YouTube channel and to have a show on here. It's like I just keep getting distracted. I'm getting distracted from making music videos too. I work overnights at a homeless shelter right now, full time. And I absolutely love it. And there's a part of me that realizes I need to be making episodes for YouTube and making content for my social media. I post a lot of gym content, but I stopped talking about the paranormal and mysteries of the universe and paranormal encounters. I completely stopped. It was becoming sparingly. In 2022, I had a series. It was like a celebrity conspiracy series that went viral on TikTok. And started to get comments, and it was giving me anxiety. And I just felt like I needed to withdraw from the spotlight on TikTok. But because of that, I get barely any views on TikTok. So I'm hoping to change that and just... What do you think? Should I make a hot chocolate or just a coffee? I think I'm gonna go... I'm gonna go with hot chocolate because I want to show you guys what I got here. I have all these jars. This has got marshmallows on it. And my tea bags. And I've got like 7 other ones that have rice, 2 kinds of protein powder, coffee, sugar, oatmeal, Gatorade, and creatine. I think I got 11 jars in total. So yeah, Bill Cooper, he predicted the 9/11 attacks. He said, how convenient. The top FBI and intelligence teams cannot find Osama bin Laden. But then an American journalist, the TV camera crew, waltzes into his hideout and interviews him. There was an arrest warrant put out for him on September 11th, 2001. And then it was postponed until November 5th, 2001. When officers in Eager, Arizona, they were dressed in plain clothing and causing a ruckus out near basically where his neighbor is. And they were posing as rowdy teenagers. And anytime this would happen, him and his neighbor had an agreement. They would go out and just try to shoo them away. So he goes out there and he notices it's the same policeman trying to get him on trumped up fraud charges related to taxes. And he ends up having some sort of a shootout or something. He ends up being gunned down on his front porch. And right where the porch meets the step is where his body was found. And it just makes you wonder, like, all of the information could just be... They said he was a militia member, but I'm friends with his best friend Doyle Shamley, and I know that's not true. I ended up interviewing his best friend Doyle on my very first radio show. Like I told you guys about how I had the one... Basically, it was like a one show at this university, and it was with Doyle Shamley. And then I had another radio show, and that was for 2 years. Anyway, so they wouldn't allow anybody up to go see his body because they had to send a robot up or something like that. They wouldn't allow anybody up there. I think it was like 14 or 16 hours. Nobody was allowed to access where the body was. So they could have moved it 100 times and we would never know. But unless he's speaking the truth, why would they want to arrest him? They said he had an AK-47. All they found was a hunting rifle with a scope, which is legal for him to carry in the United States. So they were trying to make him out to seem like he was some sort of a militia member, and he wasn't. He was just defending his right to freedom of speech. He spoke very openly about secret societies on his radio show, The Hour of the Time. And he said a lot of things that people probably didn't want him talking about, exposing secrets about the existence of aliens and the corruption within government. And because of this, I believe, eventually they just decided to take his life. They had to quiet him. They had to silence him in some way. So lately I've just been thinking I have to get back to my original dream and focus on my YouTube channel and my social media and start talking about these things again, especially now that, like, what I was always talking about, it's come to light that it's based in reality. Aliens are real. UFOs are real. The government knows about them. It's no longer just an if. It's an actual fact. They know about bodies. They have bodies of these aliens. I've seen online that they have photographs. I'm sure they have video as well of everything. I feel that humans are a science experiment. That we're some sort of mixture of alien and perhaps one of the first Neanderthal type of, I guess you could say, type of human. I feel like there was something here first that was like a humanoid, and then they bred with alien life. You hear about alien impregnation of humans, and I just feel like we're an experiment on this planet, and that Anunnaki perhaps impregnated humans, and maybe the hybrids, we are the hybrids, or perhaps they're kept on a ship somewhere. I feel like a lot of humans are hybrid aliens and they just don't know their power. There's so many things we can create and manifest with our minds. We have the ability for telepathy and psychic abilities. We're able to heal things with our minds and our vibration. We can alter the molecular structure of water and influence our environment just with thought alone. That's pretty powerful. I feel like there's many abilities that we're told to ignore, or that it's almost like they don't want you to know how powerful you are. They never did want us to know our own power. And eventually the truth was going to come out. Eventually it was going to come out that aliens are real and that they've always been here. I believe that many of them are our ancestors and where we've come from. And I feel like in the ocean there's portals that perhaps they go through, and you can go to different planets or you can go to different dimensions. Either way, something weird is going on. They're revealing all the truth. It's almost, lately it's felt like we switched timelines. It felt like that to me like 2 weeks ago. I felt this huge shift. I felt a huge shift in my universe. Around 2 weeks ago, it was this change in energy, and I can't explain what is going on. But now all this truth is coming out, and it's unfortunate that people had to die for information that they're now exposing. It's almost like they didn't want it exposed too soon for whatever reason. Either way, I think we're the aliens. Anyways, guys, I'm going to post another episode soon. And I'm going to be making this more frequent. So I'll see you guys on the next episode of The Witching Hours. I'm your host, Kanaska Carter. Let me know what you think about all this. Aliens in the ocean. Maybe they even have dinosaur type of creatures still existing in the Marianas Trench, for all we know. Alright, I love you guys, and I'll see you for the next episode of The Witching Hours. I'm your host, Kanaska Carter.